Right now, live at 5, polls are open and ballots are being cast. We have everything you need to know before voting ends tonight.
We'll see who gains control of the State House and Senate once polls close tonight.
And Wisconsin's political weight is enormous once again, which way the battleground state could tip tonight. Plus, we're live at polling locations tonight as a record number of people are expected to vote. What precincts around the Northland look like. And how the presidential candidates are spending the final hours before polls close across the country.
Welcome to the CBS 3 News Live at 5. Here's a live look from the Duluth Public Library, which is serving as one of several polling locations in the city on this Election Day 2020. We are tracking several elections across Minnesota and Wisconsin, and we'll be providing those results throughout the night. Good evening, I'm Kristen Vaki.
And I'm Anthony Matt. Thanks for joining us, and happy Election Day. Minnesota is the only state in the nation with a divided government, but tonight that could change.
All eyes are on the Minnesota House and Senate races, where all 201 seats are up for election.
CBS 3's Emma Quinn joins us live from down in Duluth. Emma, you've been tracking this story for a few days now. What exactly can we expect tonight?
So, Kristen and Tony, like you mentioned, this is a very interesting race, both the House and the Senate, as all those seats in the legislature are up for re-election. And what comes from this race and this outcome of some of these big races could have a large impact on who gains that majority control in the State House and the Senate. Now, currently, the Republicans hold the majority in the state Senate by 3 seats. Meanwhile, the House is led by the DFL by 16 seats. And tonight's election is especially important as upcoming redistricting could make legislative control even more significant. Now, during census years, district boundaries are adjusted based on that updated population. With different boundaries come different people with different regional values voting in each race. And with a divided government, what happens with redistricting will have an impact on which parties can gain control in the future, something the Republicans say they are concerned about.
And so our concern with complete Democrat control is that you'd see a lot of gerrymandering of the line so that they would create districts that would make it very easy for Democrats to win and very difficult for Republicans to win.
Meanwhile, DFLers say they do plan to play fair and equal regardless of which party wins.
We're focused on with redistricting coming up is making sure that we have fair and competitive maps and that no party, whether it's the DFL or the Republicans, has an unfair advantage as it pertains to elections.
Now remember, all ballots in Minnesota must be turned into your clerk's office by 8 p.m. tonight. Previously, that deadline was for November 10th, and that was up until Minnesota's 8th Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that out and ruled that all ballots have to be in by 8 p.m. tonight.
Yeah, certainly an 11th hour decision there. Emma, can you explain why all of Minnesota's legislative seats are up for re-election tonight?
So, Tony, as of right now, the House of Representatives, every 2 years, those seats seek re-election, and with the House Senate, they seek re-election every 4 years. And now up here in the Northland, some interesting races to point out are some incumbents did not make it to the final, make it past the primaries, like Senate seat for District 7, Eric Simonson was beat out in the primaries. And for House of Representatives District 5B, Sandy Lehman is one of many who is seeking retirement after this legislative session.
Yeah, and we'll certainly be keeping an eye on all 201 seats, including some that Republicans are putting a blitz on stronghold Democratic seats up on the Iron Range. Emma Quinn live for us tonight. Thanks, Emma.
There are a number of state legislative races to watch in our region tonight that could have big implications on party control. That includes District 5 in the state Senate, stretching from Grand Rapids to Bemidji. Incumbent Republican Justin Eichhorn is being challenged by DFLer and Bemidji Mayor Rita Albrecht. Eichhorn rode the red wave in 2016, ousting Tom Saxog by just 553 votes. Another race Democrats are targeting tonight is the one for Minnesota Senate District 11, which covers a large swath of the I-35 corridor from Pine City to Cloquet. Incumbent Republican Jason Rarick, a longtime Pine City electrician and former Minnesota House member, is being challenged by former Duluth News anchor Michelle Lee of Moose Lake.
There's also the fight for Minnesota's 7th Senate District, which covers the city of Duluth. There is no incumbent on that ballot. As Emma just explained, that's because Democrat Jen McEwen ousted Eric Simonson in the primary. McEwen is board president of the Damiano Center and an attorney representing workers with disability claims. Her opponent is Republican Donna Bergstrom, who was the first endorsed American Indian Republican candidate and primary winner for lieutenant governor in state history. Bergstrom is also retired lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Marine Corps.
Meanwhile, in Wisconsin, a supermajority in the state legislature is on the line. Right now, Republicans control the state assembly and state senate. They're also 3 wins away in each chamber from veto-proof majorities. While many of the Democratic-held seats Republicans are trying to turn red lie in the Milwaukee suburbs, there are a couple in our region to watch tonight. That includes the 74th Assembly District, which covers the Bayfield, Ashland, and Sawyer County areas. That's where Democratic Representative Beth Myers is clawing onto her seat, which she's held for 3 terms now. The Ashland native and former executive director is being challenged by Republican James Bolin. He's a business manager who ran against state Senator Janet Bewley in 2018 and lost. As we mentioned, this district includes Sawyer County, which voted for Donald Trump in 2016 after going blue in both 2008 and 2012. But Myers did win her seat with 56% of the vote in 2018. The 73rd Assembly District, representing the Douglas and Washburn County areas, is also on the line. Representative Nick Milroy, a Democrat, is hoping to retain the seat he's held for 12 years. But Republican Keith Kern, a local business owner and Superior City Councilor, wants to spoil that. Milroy ran unopposed in 2018. For the record, Douglas County voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016, while Washburn and Burnett counties voted for Donald Trump.
And speaking of Wisconsin, they're among the political epicenter of the election tonight. The state could determine whether or not Donald Trump is elected to a second term or Joe Biden wins the White House. Elections have historically been very close in Wisconsin. Over the last 5 presidential elections, 3 of them have been determined by less than 1 percentage point. 2016's results also point to an interesting night ahead. That's when 22 counties in Wisconsin that had once voted for President Obama switched to President Trump. Add in Wisconsin's COVID-19 surge, and experts say you can't deny it's a state to watch.
We're one of the 3 or 4 states in the country that has the fastest growing number of new cases. So you put those 2 together, and we really are kind of the epicenter of this election right now.
And coming up at 6, we'll hear from Democratic and Republican strategists about how their tactics for winning this battleground state. In many places across the country, voters are standing in long lines waiting to fill out their ballot. Those votes will be added to the roughly 100 million early votes already cast. In the final hours of the 2020 election, President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden are making their final push to rally their supporters. Skylar Henry reports.
President Trump visited his campaign headquarters in Arlington, Virginia, to thank the staffers who helped run his re-election campaign. Without citing evidence, he said allowing states to continue counting votes past Election Day is dangerous.
You have to have a date, and the date happens to be November 3rd, and we should be entitled to know who won on November 3rd.
Overnight, the president returned to the White House after holding 5 rallies in 4 battleground states. He's promised the crowds from his rallies will show up to the polls on Election Day like a red wave. Vice President Biden spent the morning in Scranton, Pennsylvania, to visit his childhood home with his 2 granddaughters. Inside, he signed a wall with the words, "From this house to the White House, with the grace of God." Last night, he made a final pitch to voters in the battleground state.
The vast majority of Americans are done with the chaos, the corruption, the failures.
From Connecticut to California, polls are now open across the country.
I think everybody needs to get out and vote, make it happen.
This is a very important election. It's going to change the history of our country.
Here in Alexandria, Virginia, and in polling locations across the country, election officials are working to prioritize the health and safety of voters with coronavirus protocols, including signage encouraging social distancing, mask wearing, and plexiglass partitions.
It's unclear if a winner will be declared tonight, as some states could take days to count all the ballots. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Alexandria, Virginia.
President Trump will spend election night at the White House, and former Vice President Biden will be in Wilmington, Delaware.
If you're wondering how Minnesota has trended in choosing a president, the state hasn't voted for a Republican in nearly 5 decades. That's when voters favored Richard Nixon back in 1972. 4 years ago, Minnesota went blue for Hillary Clinton by just less than 2 percentage points.
All right, and Dave's here for a look at the weather. Dave, sunny, warm. I took the dog for a walk in shorts on Election Day 2020. I can't believe I'm able to say that.
Yeah, even the dog voted for sunshine. Huh?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't heard too many people downplaying or poo-pooing this weather, but to each their own. There are some snow fans that say, it's November, deer season's coming, we need winter. And others are enjoying this blast of retro summer. And boy, did we get blasted today. High temps top 70 degrees in places like Orr and Hermantown, and even 75 degrees in Ashland, at least a little bit inland at Kennedy Airport. And that set a fresh record for that town. Well, more of the same is coming tomorrow, thanks to twin highs that are dominating our sky, keeping us sunny and warm, probably through Saturday. Next rain may not be here on Sunday, so our day planner for Wednesday says clear to partly cloudy sky, with a high around 62 degrees here in the Twin Ports, 70 not out of the question farther inland. We'll talk more about how long this will last and when we crash back to reality coming up in a few more minutes.
Thanks, Dave. Still to come on Live at 5, mayoral races in Grand Rapids, plus a battle for city council seats in Chisholm. We're taking a look at elections in your area. City by City is up next.
And tonight at 6, stay with us here on CBS 3 for the latest poll data and results from the state and national elections.
You're watching Live at 5 with Kristen Vaki, Anthony Matt, and weather with meteorologist Dave Anderson on Live Local CBS 3. The Kelly Clarkson Show, weekdays at 3 on CBS 3.
From the kennel to the coop, whatever the season, Fleet Farm has everything to keep your animals happy and healthy. Whether you're getting them through the winter season, mastering those retrieval skills season, or wondering who takes care of who season. There's a reason people say, if Fleet Farm doesn't have it, you don't need it, because we have it all. Fleet Farm, built for real life.
Donating plasma is an easy way to earn up to $400 a month as a new donor while saving lives. That's right. Every donation you make helps patients in need survive and thrive. Returning donors also see monthly bonus payouts and I Give rewards points. Go to CSLplasma.com to learn more about plasma donation. CSL Plasma. Good for you, great for life.
You meet a lot of wonderful people.
My favorite thing is I get to work with great people. A lot of different personalities, and I get to have a lot of fun with them.
Join our team of supportive and creative individuals. Visit trilliumservice.com or call today to set up an interview.
I'm Dr. Jason Huang, and I'm a vascular surgeon at St. Luke's. I'm a very visual learner, and so if I can simplify it and draw it out for me, then I can do that for a patient and really help translate the what, the how, and the why, and then what they can expect before, during, and after an operation. And I really find an immense amount of satisfaction in being able to help my patients. But we have an entire team here, not just myself, that is completely dedicated to taking care of you and getting you through this.
They're live, they're local. Watch the CBS 3 News with Kristen Vaki and Anthony Matt tonight at 6, right after the CBS Evening News at 5:30.
As Americans hit the polls nationwide, we're taking a look at some of the local elections in your area.
Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of them in today's City by City. We'll start things off in the Iron Range city of Chisholm, where there could soon be some new faces on the city council. There are 4 candidates vying for 3 positions on the council. Current council member Travis Vaki is running for re-election. Also listed on the ballot is Jebediah Anthony Halawa, Marty Halverson, and Cheyenne Mikla Raha.
Now heading to Grand Rapids, where the city's mayoral office is up for grabs. Incumbent Dale Christie is defending his chair against challenger Brian Oftley. Dale is a lifelong resident of Grand Rapids, graduating from the high school and later Itasca Community College. Brian is a former radio broadcaster and journalist.
And finally, in Superior, residents will vote to decide whether or not the mayoral position should become part-time. That idea sprung from a study last year that said the city should establish a city administrator position and make the mayor's position part-time. Current Mayor Jim Payne has spoken out against the study, saying Superior residents deserve a full-time mayor.
Of course, if there's something going on in your neighborhood that you think we should know about, send us an email and it might be featured as we go around the Northland city by city.
Still to come on Live at 5, getting out to vote, how residents across the area turned out to cast their ballot and why they say it was important for them to do so.
Beautiful day around the region today. Here's a live look at what's going on in Ashland as the sun slowly sets. The picture's getting just a little bit fuzzier, but tomorrow brightness will reign again as high pressure takes over for a couple more days. We'll talk about how long this warm spell will last coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Season 2 is here, y'all. And yes, I am in an eye patch. How much more, Kelly, can it
get?
The
Kelly Clarkson Show, weekdays at 3 on CBS 3.
Warm up at Perkins with our new pot roast specials featuring our mouth-watering pot roast stroganoff, sizzling fajita breakfast quesadilla, savory pot roast melt, and more. Home-style pot roast favorites available now for a limited time at a Perkins near you and always served safely, whether you dine in, order online, or get it to go. Nothing sweetens the season like a fresh-baked pie from Perkins Holiday Bake Shop. Reserve yours today. Order now at perkinstogo.com.
Hello, I'm Steve Little with Bath Planet. For the month of November, we are offering free upgrades to a premium wall system for all your bath and shower purchases. All of our products are backed by the Good Housekeeping Seal of Approval and come with a lifetime warranty. You can still get one of our great financing options for low monthly payments or 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments till 2022. This offer ends November 30th, so call us today or go online to book your appointment. Bath Planet, out of this world service and down to earth price.
What do you get when you add care from Essentia Health and coverage from UCare? Essentia Care, now available for a more affordable price. Essentia Care's Medicare Advantage plans have premiums that start at $0 per month in select counties. You'll be able to see your Essentia Health provider at our 15 hospitals and 71 clinics. Plus, Essentia Care plans allow you the freedom to see any provider who accepts Medicare. Compare and shop plans at ucare.org/EssentiaCare.
The Kelly Clarkson Show, weekdays at 3 on CBS 3.
Fond Duluth Casino is hiring. Apply today.
Classic Rock KQ is once again the Northland's #1 radio station. The KQ Morning Show, the most listened to radio program in the Northland. The KQ Train Wreck, the Northland's #1 afternoon show. Thank you for making us the Northland's #1 radio station. 95 KQDS.
The Kelly Clarkson Show, weekdays at 3 on CBS 3. Now, the CBS 3 Duluth Weather Max forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Twin high pressure cells draped across the center part of the U.S. made for a beautiful day pretty much from the Pacific to the Atlantic. Very little precip in the country today, including our neck of the woods and including Bayfield, where it was gorgeous here on the Gil Larson Trail. This picture comes courtesy of Page Radio, and any snow that folks there had has melted off. And a lot of towns that got snow in the past week or two, it probably will disappear this week as we keep getting temperatures in the upper 50s through lower 60s, and a couple of blips into the 70s just might continue as well for a couple more days. There is an end to sight, though, to the warm spell, and I'll tell you about that after I tell you about the current conditions at the airport in Duluth, where it is warmer than normal indeed at 63 degrees. The normal is about 43. Relative humidity is low at 35%. Southwest winds going 9 miles per hour. 29.73 inches of mercury is the barometric pressure at this hour. And the current temperature in Watersmeet is 60. It's 65 in Ironwood, and Ashland is 1 degree better than that, again, at least at Kennedy Airport. 61 is what we have from Hayward running towards Solon Springs, and then up 53 towards Superior at 65. 63 is the current number in Moose Lake. And we're looking at some 50s to 60s here for the North Shore, and right by the lake in Grand Marais, only 41. But that's the anomaly and not the norm. The norm is more towards Ely at 59, 52 Hibbing. A little bit in between there for the folks in Grand Rapids, and 59 currently International Falls. Low temps tonight. probably upper 20s through lower 30s, just like they were earlier this morning. And sky condition right now, well, if it wasn't around sunset, we'd say it was a sunny sky. But right now we can say it's a clear to partly cloudy sky as the high pressure clears us up in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, and probably will keep us that way until Saturday. Saturday, finally, the clouds will start to increase. But from now until then, the twin highs make things sunny and warm for our region. Once we get into Saturday, like I mentioned, this approaching low will cloud us up. And then from Sunday through Tuesday, it brings us a chance for a rain and snow mix, 30 to 50% chances each day. A little too early to tell right now if it's going to stick or not, but keep in mind, as we get towards Monday, this warm spell turns into a cold snap, and so some of it just indeed may try to stick on Monday and Tuesday. Now, getting into the forecast for tonight, Minnesota's low temps should go from 30 to 40. 30 inland, 40 by the lake. Wisconsin and Michigan numbers will go mid to upper 30s. Everybody gets a clear to partly cloudy sky. And then for tomorrow, a mostly sunny sky in Wisconsin and the UP with high temps in the lower 60s with a couple of pushes up towards 70 still possible. In Minnesota by the lake, 55 to 60, inland 60 to 65 roughly. And again, a couple of towns just might get warmer than that. Let the sunshine rule again tomorrow, and it shall rule with an iron fist through Friday. Temperatures stay warm through Saturday, even Sunday, but then the change begins Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And by Monday, we have only 40 for a high. By next Tuesday, 32. We will go from warmer than normal to cooler than normal.
With record early voting and long lines at the polls today, this election is projected to have one of the highest voter turnouts in history. We spoke with voters across the Northland to see why they were voting and why it's so important to them. Cloquet voter Heather Bryant says casting a ballot is how you can make your voice heard. She hopes people studied up on each candidate before voting.
Research what is important to you and what you care about, what you want the world to look like at the end of the day. And if you put in the time and effort, the world around you will evolve to what you want it to be.
And coming up tonight at 6, we hear from other voters who share more about what drew them out to the polls today.
Well, you have just under 3 more hours to get your vote in. Duluth city officials say it's too early to tell how many people have cast their vote so far, but they do say in-person voter traffic has been pretty steady all day, and they expect it to get busier as people start to get off work. CBS 3's Leanne Valdez is live at one of the many polling locations across the city, the Coppertop Church in Duluth. Leanne, as we mentioned, a lot of polling places saying a pretty steady flow today. How are things going there?
Yeah, and they are correct. It's been pretty steady. We got here probably around 15 or 20 minutes or so, and so far I've counted around 30 or more people have been going in to cast their vote. But there is, some time, of course, for you to go get that vote in. But there are some measures that you need to know because, of course, of COVID-19 happening. So the first thing you need to know is to make sure you bring a mask to the polling place and wear it inside once you are in the polling place. Once inside, you'll notice there are X's marked on the floor to help the voters stay 6 feet apart from the judges. Plexiglass barriers are in place throughout the room, as well as hand sanitizer stations, and pens will be sanitized after each use. Director of Administrative Services, Chelsea Helmer, says so far everything has gone smoothly today. One thing they found interesting, though, is the number of people registering to vote for the first time this year, making the voter turnout astronomical.
I would expect that we're going to see a very, very high voter turnout. We have already had 47% of Duluth residents vote early, and so I think we'll hit that 80%, if not higher, mark today.
Again, it is too early to get an exact in-person voter turnout number, and city officials did tell me that they're hoping to get a number to us by later this evening. And the polls, again, are open until 8 o'clock tonight, and city officials do add that even if you get in line at 7:58, 7:59, and you are in that line, your vote will still count.
Nice to see so many people participating in Election Day tonight. Thanks, Leanne. Well, rural polling places also saw heavy voter turnout today. A reporter who voted here at Thompson Town Hall in Esco today waited an hour to cast their ballot. That was around 8:20 this morning. Lines grew even longer this afternoon with cars parked on the side of the road several blocks away from the polling place. Our reporter says in past election years, they typically wait about 20 minutes to vote in Esco. Lines were also long in Rice Lake Township and Chisholm, with our reporters there waiting between 20 minutes and a half hour.
Still to come, how some residents used Election Day to make their voices heard.
This year,
more than ever, we are urging you to get your flu shot. During this pandemic, it seems there are so many things we can't do. Well, this is something we can do.
flu shots are now widely available throughout our community, including at St. Luke's and Essentia.
It takes just a few moments, and getting a flu shot protects you and those around you.
Let's do everything we can to stay healthy.
Let's get our flu shots. On behalf of Essentia
and St. Luke's and our entire region, thank you.
In 2016, Mike missed out on a tax credit because he didn't get his health insurance through MNsure. He was sure he made too much money to qualify. He did it again the following year, and again, and again, and you get the picture. Every year, thousands of Minnesotans miss an exclusive tax credit through MNsure that averages over $5,100 a year. This year, be sure you're not one of them.
Maybe I should go through MNsure this year.
That is exactly right, Mike.
It's coming. You ready? Because Toro's Snow Days sale is here. With the #1 brand in snowblowers, you will dominate winter. And now during Toro's Snow Days, get up to $100 off select 2-stage snowblowers, up to $40 off select 60-volt battery snowblowers, and up to $50 off select single-stage snowblowers. Plus great financing offers. Win winter with Toro.
You work hard for your money and deserve to see it go the extra mile. Join us Wednesday mornings and hear from local experts on tips to better manage your finances in Eye on Money on Live Local CBS 3. Brought to you by MPPL Financial.
Moving to mornings, obviously, with Jenna, I had worked weekends with her, and it was great. We're always there to be able to still joke around, still have that personality, but still obviously bring the news, the weather.
Caitlin has been there since day one when I first started at CBS 3, and she's super knowledgeable about meteorology. She loves it, and she's so interested in teaching other people things about it as well. And I just think we're such a good pair for that reason.
Watch Jenna and Caitlin in the morning at 5 and 6 a.m. on CBS 3.
Generation of engineers have arrived on the Iron Range.
Classes are looking a little bit different this year at
Minnesota. This time, it's the president's son hoping to win. Saving a man in the fire. The details tonight.
Coming up, we're unpacking the vice president's campaign.
Gilbert in Virginia. Coming up tonight, we hear from Wisconsin voters.
Tomorrow, I think it's going to be cooler than normal.
To stay up to date with the news and weather that impacts you and your community.
Of engineers have arrived on the Iron Range.
Classes are looking a little bit different this year at
Minnesota. This time, it's the president's son hoping to win. Saving a man in the fire. The details tonight.
Coming up, we're unpacking the vice president's campaign.
Gilbert in Virginia. Coming up tonight, we hear from Wisconsin voters.
Tomorrow, I think it's going to be cooler than normal.
To stay up to date with the news and weather that impacts you and your community. Watch Jeopardy at 4:30, followed by CBS 3 Live at 5 on Live Local CBS 3.
What's his name? George Floyd! Say his name! George Floyd!
A group of about 50 marchers made their voices heard in Duluth today. This group, who chanted and held Black Lives Matter sign, made their way through Canal Park and onto Superior Street. Racial equity has been a major topic in this election, fueled by the death of George Floyd. He died while in the custody of Minneapolis police in May.
Duluth police are investigating after shots were fired at a house in Piedmont. It happened around 6:40 Monday morning near North 23rd Avenue West and Ensign Street, a block away from an elementary school. Police say someone fired the shots from a car window. Nobody was hurt. They haven't found any suspects yet, and the investigation is ongoing. We'll be right back after the break.
CBS 3 closed captioning is brought to you by Essentia Health Pharmacies, keeping things safe, simple, and convenient through mail, local delivery, drive-through, and curbside pickup services.
Right now, millions of people and billions of devices are connected to the internet.
Homes, businesses, hospitals, schools. The security and reliability of these connections are more important than ever. That's why at Mediacom, we've built a network to protect them. A network that sees threats, fixes problems before they occur, and keeps you going with 99.99% network reliability.
Duluth has shattered records for early voting. What about in-person voting? We'll find out.
It got even warmer than expected today, and we were expecting warmth. This warmth could be expected to last the rest of the week. And I'll give you the details on that.
Tonight at 6.
Season 2 is
The
here.
Kelly Clarkson Show, weekdays at 3 on CBS 3.
Fire threatens everything in its path. When it threatens our communities, we respond. We bring the fight to the front line. The Army National Guard stands ready because sometimes the front lines are in our own backyard. We will always be there when our community needs us the most. Find out more about serving your community part-time by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Heart attacks and strokes happen, even in the midst of COVID-19, and at least one will occur while you're watching this. Heart attacks and strokes are medical emergencies. If you experience symptoms of a heart attack or stroke, do not delay seeking care. Call 911 immediately. Hospitals are prepared and can safely treat you. Visit cdc.gov/coronavirus to learn more.
Season 2 is here, y'all. And yes, I am in an eye patch. How much more, Kelly, can it
The
get?
Kelly Clarkson Show, weekdays at 3 on CBS 3.
Welcome back. At this time, polls are still open, and there is still time to get your vote counted. Both in Wisconsin and Minnesota, there are several key positions up for grabs that will determine the balance of power in our region and at the nation's capital.
Well, that's your news at 5. The CBS Evening News is next.
We'll see you back here at 6 o'clock.